We are down to the final 8 teams here in the NFL playoffs in 2024. We've got 2 games on Saturday, 2 games on Sunday. It's the divisional round. So let's get into it. Starting at 4:30, kind of a later afternoon game on Saturday. It is the number 1 overall seed, the team that rested their starters in Week 18 and then had a bye this past week. The Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson likely winning the MVP, taking on the Houston Texans, who were home underdogs last week against the Browns. CJ Stroud with just a ridiculous first half. Houston ends up crushing the Browns and that good defense, scoring over 40 points. You do have Baltimore in this game, heavy favorites, sitting -9. We know they've struggled recently in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, 82% chance to win this game. But I do think that Houston can possibly keep this game close, go up early, possibly take like a 7-3, 10-3 lead into the second quarter. Gonna be a close game in my opinion. Even with Baltimore, they're more talented. Houston, one of the only reasons they got into the playoffs was because of the bad AFC South. And there's kind of 2 different narratives you can draw from Baltimore having this 2-week layoff. Well, they're going to be rested, they're going to be healthy, but also maybe they come out a little bit rusty. It's kind of a double-edged sword. So Houston's a team, they're coming in hot. They've played a lot recently. Baltimore's been off. I do think they will cover in this game. 82% chance to win. That's no joke, especially when it comes to the NFL playoffs. You have Baltimore as the big favorites in this game, but based on how well CJ Stroud is playing, yes, he's just a rookie, but we're really late into the year. He's a little bit more seasoned. I think they'll be able to keep this game close and cover that 9-point spread, but I do have Baltimore winning this game 23-20 and advancing on to the AFC Championship. The next game, it is the primetime Saturday night game. San Francisco sitting -10 against the Green Bay Packers. San Francisco with a 79% chance to win. They are the number 1 overall seed. They had a bye week. How about the Packers and Jordan Love seemingly blossoming before our eyes? Crazy game at Dallas. I really thought the Cowboys were going to win that game. Kind of a massive choke job, but also you got to give credit to Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, and that team. They are coming in as a 10-point underdog. San Francisco is absolutely loaded, and I think San Francisco, I'm going to go with the chalk again, gets the win here, but I will have the underdog once again covering. I like both of the bigger underdogs to cover on the road at the 1 seed because of how well both of them have played. Houston with CJ Stroud, the Packers with Jordan Love. I think they can cover this spread, but I do think in the end, San Francisco is just way too talented. They're way too powerful. They're at home. But I will say Brock Purdy was pretty disappointing towards the end of the regular season, so I do find decent value on the upstart Green Bay Packers to cover a 10-point spread, and I'm guessing I would take the over in this game, depending on what it is, 28-21, maybe a little bit higher scoring game there. Moving on to the Sunday games, this is a mid-afternoon 3 o'clock game at Ford Field. It is Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, who would have thought, beating Philadelphia at home on Monday night, crushing them actually. They will be traveling to Detroit to take on the Lions. The Lions ended up winning by a point against the Rams at home. There's a lot of hype around this Lions team. I think the Lions are significantly more talented than the Buccaneers, and this could be like a coming out party for the Detroit Lions. I've got them winning this game 27-20. To me, Detroit is just more complete than the Bucs. It's important people understand there's this narrative that the Bucs are this crazy, shocking team. They were 9-8. They won a bad division. That's how they made the playoffs. Now, sure, you could say, well, they were only supposed to get 5 or 6 wins, but they were in a bad division. They faced all those teams twice. They snuck into the playoffs. They won in Week 18, 9-0 against Carolina, who's the worst team in the NFL. Let's put it into context a little bit. Detroit winning 24-23. Listen, the Rams are a good team. It's a decent win against LA, even though they didn't cover that spread. Now they're sitting -6, and I think they're able to cover it 27-20. It might even be like 27-17. I do like the Lions to cover this spread in that one. I think the Bucs' luck runs out. And also you have to think about Philadelphia just completely self-destructed towards the end of the season. I mean, they finished 1-6. This is not trying to downplay what the Bucs did, but I am just saying, let's put it into context. Let's understand. Let's not get overzealous, and let's think that Detroit's going to be able to cover this spread, especially after last week building the momentum. They're at home again. I have them winning this game and covering the 6-point spread. And then here we go, the biggest game of the weekend by far. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City, coming off a home win last week. They were aided a little bit by the elements, especially their defense. And there's a narrative going around now that Kansas City, they've got this elite defense. Guys, I'm not buying it. They're the number 3 seed traveling on the road to Buffalo. And this Buffalo team, it's been very low-key this season. We didn't even know if they were going to make the playoffs. Week 13, week 14, they were around 500. Josh Allen, the turnovers, he doesn't even make an all-pro team. But I really like the vibe coming from this Buffalo team. My original going into these playoffs, my Super Bowl matchup was the Dallas Cowboys, which is already wrong, versus the Buffalo Bills, and I'm sticking with the Bills. The Bills playing on Monday afternoon. The game gets rescheduled. I think that rescheduling helped the Bills because they've got a way better offense than the Steelers did. And they end up crushing the Steelers and covering a 10-point spread. They're only -2.5 in this one. And this is Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. How is that even possible? I understand you've got a very good regular season record. You get home field advantage, but that's just crazy to me, the amount of playoff games Mahomes been in. Technically, you could say when Mahomes was in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, that was actually a road game, but it was the pandemic, and that situation was weird because the Bucs, they were in the Super Bowl and their home stadium hosted it, but it is kind of technical. Either way, 6:30 Sunday evening, Buffalo 57% chance to win, -2.5. I think the Bills get it done, finally breaking through, and they face the number 1 overall seed next week on the road, the Baltimore Ravens. So my matchups right now, it is Buffalo traveling on the road to Baltimore, and it is the Detroit Lions traveling on the road to San Francisco. When it comes to this game, I do like Buffalo. If you can get them -2.5, they should be able to cover that. I understand the narrative surrounding Kansas City now is they've got this great defense, but they still do not have an explosive enough offense, in my opinion, to hang and beat Buffalo on the road this season. I have never liked Kansas City this year. The Taylor Swift stuff, it's just gotten old. I don't have anything against Taylor, but it's just the charade, showing her every 2 seconds in the suite. Could you, oh my God, imagine if the Chiefs actually make the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift. That's got to be in the script for the NFL. But no, in general, I do think Buffalo wins this game. And this is funny. This game is being played at Highmark Stadium. I wonder what the conditions will be like for this game. Highmark Stadium is not even going to exist in about 4 years. They're knocking it down. They're putting up a new stadium. The construction on that has already started. Another potential prop bet that I do like this coming week is the Packers team total over 19.5. Because the Green Bay Packers have been playing a lot better on offense recently. We saw the massive explosion they had in Dallas. 19.5 seems like it is reachable. If you're looking for a parlay, because normally I do a parlay segment every week, and this week there's just not enough games to do one, I would say, I would say Ravens money line, 49ers. Honestly, all the home teams. Yeah, I would be very surprised if any of the home teams lost this week, including the Bills. I think the Bills will win, and they're going to cover that 2.5-point spread. The over-unders are really, they're all in like the upper 40s. The Packers over-under is 49.5. That's a higher number for a game involving, well, I guess they have decent offenses, but in general, normally San Francisco has a really good defense, especially at home. But either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.